Hello everyone. Welcome back to the next training session of SHL Technical Support Team. Today we will continue to learn about heat treatment oils. The content of the study includes the following sections: changes in brightness, selection method, development of heat treatment oil and management of heat treatment oil. The first is about changing the material's brightness. Changes in brightness include change by water and by sludge. As shown in figure, we can see that as the water content increases from 50 ppm to 1000 ppm, the luminosity of the metal gradually decreases. This negatively affects the quality of the product as required. Only when the water content is less than 50 ppm does the color change little. Therefore, it is also necessary to check the water content regularly to consider and evaluate. In addition to water, sludge is also a factor that affects the brightness of the surface of the material because during heat treatment, the temperature increases easily to form sludge. The color change is easy to see here. When the sludge content is 0.1%, the color darkens, but when it is 0.3%, the thief turns completely black. Obviously, this is an extremely important factor and should be checked and monitored regularly. Sludge is also a factor that reduces heat transfer and affects the cooling rate of the oil. Next, let's find out what criteria should be based on to choose heat treatment oil. The first is specification of product required. The product information, TDS, will affect the material. The second is material of steel. Each type of steel has a different structure and composition. Therefore, the heat treatment temperature is also different and the cooling rate is also different. The third is size of heat-treated product. The material product size also affects the cooling rate at locations on the product. That affects the hardness of the positions. The next items is heat treatment facility, method and form of quenching tank. In addition to these four criteria, it is also necessary to pay attention to some other criteria such as tolerance of deformation, difficulty of defatting, pollution problems during operation or disposal method of refrigerant. In addition to the oil selection criteria, it will also be necessary to pay attention to the requirements when using it, including economics, workability and quality. Economy is expressed in terms of oil life and consumption. Oils that are thermally stable produce less deposits and last longer. Low oil viscosity also helps to reduce oil consumption, but it is also necessary to maintain a reasonable viscosity because it will affect the hardness of the material during cooling. The quality is thermal conductivity. Excellent cooling capacity is what the mills care about and also what oil manufacturers pay attention to and want to improve quality. The workability is flash point and combustion point. High temperature is very easy to produce smoke and steam, so it should also be taken into account to reduce them. In addition, consideration should be given to the risk of fire and explosion when using heat treatment oils. In order to be able to development of heat treatment oil with excellent features, it is necessary to meet 5 requirements which are about restrained strain, good coolability, long life, high flash point and cleanliness. The coolability depends on boiling point of base oil and boiling stage. Restrained strain results in short vapor phase step oxidation stability. Long life, in other words, good oxidation stability. The high flash point means that the boiling point of the base oil is also high and it is related to refining of base oil. As for the cleaning ability, need a low viscosity. The next and last part of heat treatment oil is about oil management. Heat treatment oil needs to control items such as kinematic viscosity, flash point, water content, total acid value, sludge and cooling curve. One of the first parameters to consider is the kinematic viscosity. Increased or decreased viscosity affects the cooling ability of the material. It also indicates whether the oil has been oxidized or decomposed by heat or has formed deposits in the tank. Kinematic viscosity control between plus and minus 20%. As the viscosity increases, the cooling ability decreases. Second is about flash point. In heat treatment oils, the flash point plays an important role in the oil because of the high temperature during use and fire safety requirements. Viscosity changes will also affect the flash point of the oil, so effective management is also required. For heat treatment oils, the flash point should normally be high and determined through an open cup flash point test. Next is the water content, recommended below 0.05%. Water in heat treatment oil is a dangerous factor because the possibility of fire and explosion is also high, along with affecting the quality of the material. Water has a lower boiling point than oil while water is heavier than oil. When the temperature is high, the water evaporates with great pressure, causing the oil to boil and can explode, causing fire and explosion. Water in the oil also affects the hardness of the material. Total acid number is also of concern, as recommended below 2%. This is the cause of the problem of deposit formation due to oxidation and breakdown of the emulsion system, affecting the viscosity and surface brightness of the material. About sludge, the composition consists of penton and the above fine iron powder, dust. The amount of residue affects not only the quality of the oil but also the cooling process with the material. Managing the cooling curve of the heat treatment oil is also important because if not maintained it will affect the hardness of the material. Maintain periodic checks against reality for evaluation. The table below shows some problem and management example about each item of heat treatment oil. Changes due to oxidation, due to thermal decomposition lead to problems and need to be managed effectively. Above is the entire content of the heat treatment oil section. Thank you all for listening. If you have any questions or concerns, you can contact the SHL technical support team via the email below. Goodbye and see you again.